Hiya. So I've woken up. I've got up today. Got up late because because of the action plan I've got in place at the moment. It's called for like a go slow type of attitude to my problems and to life. But what it is I tried to allude to it in the title, and that is it's a ridiculous action plan. It's what I'm seeing as the option to try in the present moment, because everything else has failed. And I'm suffering PTSD because of my action plan, because it is not foolproof, but it's the best I can do at the moment. And when I say action plan, I just mean like getting myself back on track, just white and dressed. You're still in the horrible place you've been in for a little while. What are you going to do about it? How are we going to get ourselves out? That's the sort of line of thinking I put myself through, and I come up with an action plan. That's how I get myself out of difficult times with my mental health. It's been like this for just so long, just like action plan, action plan, action plan. It's like each action plan is just serving to prolong and being in the same place. But I'm still breathing. I mean that sincerely. From a certain perspective, I'm still breathing. From a certain perspective, all my worldly problems are being addressed as and when I can, and somehow, there's not been any serious repercussions of me not being able to be on top of things at the moment. It's just not my modus operandi. It's never has been. Not with life, not with important things, not with money. Essentially, I remember one time in my early 20s I was in a bit of money trouble, but as much as I was stressed, and I remember I was proper stressed about the money problems, there was always two options for me. One is I could fall back on my dad, my parents, and just say, look, I fucked up, you're going to need to bail me out. I was never really going to get into more trouble than a few £1,000 given my need to be on top of money. If it ever got more than a few £1,000, I'd be so stressed that I'd crumble. And it happened on one occasion. I came away, and I got like it was almost like going bankrupt, like a minor bankruptcy. And essentially you're limited into what you can do for a certain amount of time, like leaving the country, and the amount you're able to earn within the coming year. And if you do earn more than that, then your original debts are liable again towards yourself. Essentially, I had my debts wiped off. I was living at home. I had the comfort of I mean, I had my mental health disorder at the time, so it wasn't easy, but it was sort of like the best thing for it at the time, because I could see I've sort of, my life was saying, right, Andreas, you're not going to be doing anything for the next year with your mental health. So it was almost like the perfect time to get them wiped off. I was at home with my dad, so it was like I had even more added benefit of my dad being there as a backup if I did ever need like an extra odd £50. For whatever reason, I don't think I did. As I said, I was living at home, mental health disorder. I didn't desire possessions, and no, my dad did. I remember my dad did. He bailed me out with, you know, with a bit of money. I remember I had a debt account towards my dad. I had the intention of repaying it. I never have. My life hasn't allowed, but he got me through that year, you know. It was a hard time anyway, because I was on this debt relief order, it was called. But having that extra little bit of breathing space, just my dad, it allowed for it. But now I'm alone. Now I've got cares in this world in terms of possessions, because I'm alone. And I'm managing to the best I can, given everything I know, given my understanding of what it takes to be in control of finances and your life, the system as much as how it takes the piss in the first instance, and what it demands. So I mean, it's like, we're talking about finances again, how to prioritise debts, for instance. What debts are important to honour, what aren't, what can be, how you should prioritise repayment. And all of these things are there in the back of my mind, and I'm able to implement certain ability to stay on top of things, like far beyond what my mental health really displays. Like, my mental health says this person should have had severe input, or he should be just like, he should have lost home after home after home. He should probably be on the streets or in hospital because of what I've learned in life. It's allowing me to maintain somehow, beyond my limits really, but ultimately I'm maintaining, and I acknowledge that. How long it will last, how long this game will run, I don't know, but I'm just doing my best. And it's a bit like that with the action plan, if you imagine. It's like, you know how to manage finances, like you might as well be a bloody accountant. You're so anal about finances. You're unable to, not because, well, yeah, you haven't got money in the first instance, but you realise that money isn't the problem. You realise that to a certain extent you've had the money like 3, 4, 5 times now to get on top of things, and you're not able. So you realise that for all intents and purposes, everything you're doing in terms of finances and your accounts is on point, or is where it should be, given like the madness. Just putting my platform slippers on because my body's out of whack, and these are like training, but fun training that you can sort of forget about. It really does my posture good, lifts my energy, and those two simple things are exactly what what I need, and it's a mental thing as well to just snap me out of my fear. Because it's like with the PTSD, and I know I'm going off track slightly, but the PTSD is like as soon as I wake up, the fear gets me, like of what I've got to face for the day. I'm gripped with fear, and the fear in itself keeps me there, because I'm pretty sure like I can push through the patheticness of the challenge my body's presenting to me. And energy is mind anyway, and my uncle says body's mind too, but energy's mind, you know. If you're alert and you're awake, your energy's different. And that's all I really need. So just put myself in these platform shoes. I'll show you again at the end, or when I get down. I've shown it on camera a few times. They look ridiculous, and I wobble all over the place, but what they do, they just get me to I have to have like a good posture with them. I have to be like, my spine has to be erect, straight, and that's what I need. And on them, you can't be slouched like you are with when you're walking on the ground. You have to be alert, otherwise you're going to fall over. And that's the amount of alertness it just calls from you. It doesn't call for anything more than a set amount just to stay on your feet. And that's all I need just to get me out of that place with that fear, when I can feel my body contorting to the fear, because it's been so long now. That's hard to hear, sorry. Essentially, where it's been so long that my body's been constantly waking up to the same fear, same PTSD, it's starting to hunch over, you know. And it's like the fear alone puts me in that position. I can feel it, a very forceful movement, and I struggle to resist. So these shoes are like the perfect thing to prevent that happening. Doesn't require a lot of energy, just a little bit of initial mentality to say, yeah, I'm going to assert myself to put these on, and it's a bit of training to get myself out of that place. When we're talking about me managing my life in terms of finances, I don't know how to operate this way calmly. I think due to the way I am, and that is simplistically to stay on top of my affairs. And when I don't, I crumble. I'm very stressed and worried easily. You've seen my videos. I get very stressed and worried easily. It's sort of like, I was going to say half self-conscious effort to keep myself alert and on top of things, like, because to avoid the worry, but no, it's genuine worry. And I think I stay on top of things to avoid this worry. But what's happened is with life, well, what it's taught me from a different perspective. Just have to go and get the lavender to the side here. Oh, I'm making my special Andreas' Sexy CBD, so I can talk you through it at the same time. Just for the hell of it, because it's really nice. I really like it, and I never thought I would actually like the taste of smoking. Even when I began smoking, I thought I'd always at least not like the taste, but this is very tasty. So what life has taught me is that I sort of had suicidal problems a few years ago. Life pretty much said to me, Andreas, look, you're welcome to carry on going down this path. And if you do, what's always going to be on the other side, every time you fail, and you know your luck is so bad, every time you try suicide, it'll be a failed attempt. You'll wake up in hospital, or you'll wake up in bed the next day like a Groundhog Day. It will just never happen. That's my sort of luck, which is probably a good thing with what we're talking about. It's hard to see in that place, isn't it? And I realised that that's fine, but in terms of society, in terms of the system, it's not fine. I'm a free man to do whatever I want, but in terms of society, suicide is not an option. And if I, or shall I more accurately say, the next time, if I ever were to try and I were to fail, if by some miracle in that attempt I didn't come away with damage to my own physical body that lasts me a lifetime, which is a lesson in itself, I know I'd come away with the prospect of having to take medication, and that is a lesson in itself to say, don't take your life, mate. You got to be sure you want to take your life, because if you don't, and it's a failed attempt, this is what you're coming back to. And that's where I sort of had my realisation, and suicide is no longer an option for me. So the base is lavender. And when you grind it, you want to grind it quite well, but not too much that it's pulverized. You want to leave it a little bit fluffy, so it helps with when it comes to the smoking element, the rolling, sorry, and the lighting, keeping it lit. So yeah, suicide is no longer an option to me because of those reasonings. It's just like, in all honesty, I've tried it enough times and I'm still here to say that my luck is bad enough that I can't do it. And in all honesty, that has ruled out absolute certainty. You know, if I go and try it, the likelihood is it's not going to happen, and I don't want to come back to anything worse than my life is already. So for that reason, just forget about it and get on with life, innit? However best I can. And it's a bit of a hard slog because I'm progressing through real deep depression this year in staying alive, you know, just like staying alive is like, here's some more depression to look at, Andreas. Another reason you would have taken your life in the past. I know it's really hard to hear, it must be really hard, but there's nothing from my perspective hard about it. It's very cut and shut, it's very practical, it's very real, and it's positive if looked at in the right way, and that's how I'm speaking about it. So if it is hard to listen to, realise that you don't have to hear it that way. I'm not putting it across that way. You need to hear about it that way. I'm just looking for something. I'll be back in one. So yeah, I mean, this is sort of me, you know. I'm sort of doing mini therapy protocols to myself all the time because my body's been falling apart for about 2 years now, slowly, and where I'm rediscovering my alternative therapist background with a little bit of more space in the media. I'm still very like, don't rest, don't rest, don't rest. That's what life is saying. But in the media, I've got mass amounts of space compared to where I've been the years before. And in this space, what's been asked for is me to rediscover my therapy background. And I've taken a little bit of a shamanic approach to it because I don't have the adequate training, in all honesty, but I know I've got something there. And I know there's more to life. And for all intensive purposes, man, it'd be boring to look at it from the perspective of the mainstream medical approach, because it's so fucking regimented and ridiculous and contradictory and all of that. I mean, in terms of medications and side effects of medications, and then you've got, well, how much is it really helping in the first instance? How much of it is a conspiracy for big pharma? How much do you have to go and get ridiculous amounts of case studies before anything get proven as correct, even though you know with your own fucking mind to life when these fucking so I won't start. I'll try and calm down the language. But when the people in the establishment just get case studies to prove, you know, that it half works, and that's, you know, there's so many contradictions where the blood vessels in my eyes just burst. And I've realised, you know, for myself in the first instance, that's what I'm doing. I'm always keeping the mindset of what I can offer others, but I've got to make sure it works for myself in the first instance. And everything I'm doing, everything I'm applying is for that logic, for my life, for my life. And where I'm applying that logic, where I was grateful enough to have had some inheritance from my father last year, so it was the first time in my life I really had money. I spent the vast majority on health devices. If any of my spending was frivolent, it was on the health devices. And it's half arguable that it was a good thing, because, well, like now it's making life easier from one perspective, but then again, all my training, all my teachings that my uncle has given me is keep things simple, and he's given me a very simplistic application for health, and that is my training, my qigong, with the mentality to go alongside it. And with the mentality, it's there as I don't have to do a thing, I just have to do a little bit of qigong. In the present moment, it's really hard to call if all of these little therapy devices the very thing stopping me from doing my qigong. Like if I had more space in my life, if my flat was empty, I didn't buy a thing like inheritance, or I didn't get my dad's inheritance, I'd have an empty flat. The truth is, I am that much closer to exercising. But it really is that hard to tell if it's keeping me alive at present, because I wouldn't be able to exercise before with an empty flat. And these little therapy devices are the very thing that's getting me out and up. And on some level, I can really see that. I can really see I was bedbound. And to a certain extent, I still am. Well, obviously not. It's the therapy devices that are helping me get up every day. And I can't see I would have been able to do that with nothing. So on the base of lavender, I've got some, I'll show you how it comes. These come from Germany, but you can get them on eBay relatively easy. And that's resins. So this one's horny goatweed resin. And what I do, I just blend that up and mix it in just a little bit. So it's proportional, like 3% to the amount of lavender. It's about 3-4% of the overall lavender, the horny goatweed. And on top of that, we add blue lotus. And blue lotus, ideally, it would be the resin. But I'm running out of the resin, and I have some powder too. So I'm just going to mix the dry powder in. It should be okay, because the lavender is it's holding the moisture for the smoke. You need a little bit of moisture for smoking. I've turned into a smoking expert all of a sudden. And it's just again, you want to aim for a bit more blue lotus than horny goatweed. Blue lotus isn't quite such a strong taste, and it adds a nice it really goes with the whole mix. The blue lotus, it activates the sexual energies when it's within the mix. It's, how can I put it? If you imagine horny goatweed, and I'm just giving an example of how I see it. This could be absolutely wrong, but horny goatweed works more on a biological level down below. The horny goatweed in the mix, it's like, right, where are we going? I know. It goes down below, whereas the blue lotus works more on the energy of the whole body to activate a more, to touch the energy of sexuality, but just to touch it. You can do what it smoking this, but it touches that energy. And with the mix, if you allow it just to be there to soothe the whole body, that little bit of sexual energy, I mean, it sounds wrong, it's not pure sexual energy, it's just a thing that allows for sexual energy to occur, and you can do with it what you want, as we said. But if you just allow it to soothe the body, which is really the whole point of this, then it really does go with the mix quite nicely. So if you want about 3%, 4% of horny goatweed to lavender, maybe aim for about 5% of blue lotus. Both should be available on eBay again. And yeah, I've been learning to just get on with life, lose every day. With the mentality not to make life any worse. Just to be a good person, keep humble, keep as possible, because life isn't always humble, but where possible to remain humble and forget suicide, ride the waves, and all this while I've been doing my best to keep the mentality of right, I've got just to give you an idea. Right, I'm in a flat. I'm trying to move. I've been trying to move all fucking year. I've been trying to move since last year, but I've been trying to move since February, March, and it's September now. And I haven't managed to move yet. So the reality is I might be losing my boat, because I'm missing rent, and I'm missing this, and I'm missing that. And I'm just trying to do the best by what my life is presenting to me. And in terms of pure attachments, I know not to be attached to the boat. Like, life has taught me not to be attached. It makes life easier. Some of the messages from my uncle were quite as simplistic as desire to be desireless. And it sort of sets the tone, that mentality, because what it is a case of you're not an idiot. You realise you're a part of this world, and you've got to function in this world. Is to be honest with yourself, to say, yeah, you can pretend non-attachment all day long, left, right and centre, but I had a serious mental health disorder on that, a serious fear about repercussions of your natural behaviour as a result of that mental health disorder, and a sincere fear about being homeless, with the repercussions of all of that being a medication that you know on an experiential level kills you, well, shuts you down, makes life not worth living from it, just the experience of taking that medication, whether it be the intended experience or the side effects. Either way, the sum total of the experience is very, very unpleasant. And you're willing to live your life in pursuit of not experiencing that medication again. It's so bad. And I'm sure what is in my head health conscious, where in my head is a health conscious background, past. But as I said, I'm autistic as well, so I'm sure I amplify the feelings of what is health and what it means and all of that. Sorry, I'm in a bit of discomfort at the moment. And yeah, I suppose I amplify those effects of the medication. That's what I'm trying to say. How bad it is, but for me it's that bad. So I'm in that place. Sorry, I can't focus past my body at the moment. What I was trying to say is that even with non-attachment, you put a few serious restrictions to life on top of that, and you're living within this society, whether it be here, America, China, the rest of Asia, anywhere, that operates by these rules and laws, and has forgotten any culture, cultural heritage, and what it means to be human beyond that. You realise the importance of things without being attached to them. Because in honesty, I could say from my perspective now, as I understand the system, as I understand how things should proceed, I'm likely to lose the flat. And if I'm not on my boat, by the time I lose the flat, I risk being homeless. Or going to hospital and taking the medication. So I'm looking at an unpleasant situation as a result of applying the non-attachment. So you use a little bit of logic and say, well, I can apply non-attachment all the way, but from this point on I'm kidding myself, because how things are looking, it's like my worst case scenario on the other side. Just like whatever happens from now on in, because I'm losing so much, the likelihood is I'm facing the worst case scenario. And I've got to get my coffee, 1 second. The truth is, with what's on the other side, which is suicide, I'm sort of just rolling with life to say I'm caught in between a rock and a hard place. And I'm kidding myself every day when I wake up to say, if I was to say I'm not likely to be heading for an unpleasant future, a course of medication as a result of my life. I'm still trying, given my mental health, in every area and moment I can to be on top of things. But I'm also being real with my condition and trying to manage my condition. And I'm a bit like, I'm at the whim of the people now. I'm at the whim of seeing how cold and alone this system really is, and how much this capitalism that has gripped the planet still has 8 billion people that are its chains and cogs all along the way. And with consciousness as it is, will consciousness prevail? And 8 billion cogs and little chains and blah blah blah, be able to see that my circumstance and that I'm in a place that isn't really right for a human to be in. And managed to play the system on my behalf, because the system, it has a lot of room in a lot of places when we're working at that level, the level of the way. So if I speak to a human on the phone today, for instance the Canal and River Trust, I'm dealing with the Canal and River Trust, because all calls are logged and all of that, all it takes is the person to be aware of this on the other side and to be compassionate, and what you're essentially asking them to do is go against their job for the sake of humanity. And it's possible, because knowing the last time I was working, okay, so the next bit in the mix is this stuff. This is it's really weird. It's like I shouldn't be talking about this because it's marijuana. You don't talk about marijuana openly in public. But it's not. It's CBD. It's legal. And the moment they made the CBD version legal, what they essentially did, they added another herb to the legality list that could be used to treat and heal. And that's why I'm sharing. Not because this is a bit of fun, it tastes nice, because it does. And it is a bit of fun at that level. But in all seriousness, it's a medicinal herb mix. That's how I look at it. And on top of the lavender, the blue lotus, the horn and goat weed, what that is essentially the hashish version of the CBD. I don't really know. Hashish is like a resin of something from the plant. It's a way of separation, and it becomes like a sticky, thick goo. And this version, I'll see if I can find the company just to stay. I can't find it, but it's I think they're based in Lithuania or Poland. We've got like a hemp farm over there. They sell all of the CBD hemp varieties. And to the base of lavender, we add about 10% of the hashish. This stuff tastes a bit of lemon. It's like a black lemon somehow. And what it is with the tanginess, the lavender gives, is the lavender wakes up the taste buds and makes them a bit tangy. It goes with this, and it creates like a lemon cake taste. So it's Andreas' Sexy Lemon Cake CBD mix. But with my life, I'm just carrying on. I'm being sincere. I had to admit to myself the other day that, look, in all honesty, you're likely to lose out on a material level of all the possessions that you own. And it's really weird because, you know, the things that people value of this world, the computers, all of that bollocks, technology. If someone said to me, right in this moment, Andreas, look, Andreas, what's happening is that you're likely to lose half of this stuff. I'd be like, that's shit, man. But what we can do, have it taken away from you now, we can do that. I go ahead with it because it's just like the problem goes away. If it's going to happen that I'm going to lose this stuff, I'll lose it. I'll lose it from now. So I don't have to suffer it being taken. Because that's the problem for me, from me just trying to do my fucking best to life and seeing how fucking unfair life is. Like the spiritual cunt that keeps grabbing my neck on an energetic level and keeps tugging my neck. That's just my mental health, isn't it? It's not the possessions, it's the experience of having them taken, when you know you have them because of whatever life has given them to you. And you know their worth, you know they're not worth holding any attachment to beyond their practical use. But you're still aware that if and life comes knocking and says, I'm going to take them from you this way, it's just like, it's no longer just the item itself, is it? But non-attachment is non-attachment, man. That's probably the very reason. Because as soon as we own, well, my mix is done. That smells amazing. Well, if we had smell streams, smell stream, live stream. You know what I'm saying? It's very nice, this mix. I don't like smoking, man. I promise I don't like smoking, but I've come to look forward to this. And you know, I remember the wisdom that the Aboriginal man holds in his humbleness. Nobody can see the consciousness in the Aboriginal man. He's a homeless man that walks the land and paints it himself with lime ash. Where's the consciousness? He makes an occasional painting on a cave wall. Where's the consciousness? Where's the advanced civilization? Where's the philosophy from the ancient fucking Greeks? Where's the where's the world domination from the consciousness of Britain in the past 400 years? Where's the systemized Ayurvedic nutritional programs from ancient India? Where's the daily Qigong applications from Taoism in China? Where is the love-based mentality to the world from the Americas, from the Red Tribe? It's not to be seen. They wake up, they're nomads, they travel the land, they burn the land. And there it is. They burn the land. Why the fuck would these people who have nothing, who can barely find the time to just find themselves enough food to feed themselves under a hot blazing sun, take the time, in addition to all of that, to burn the land? And what I mean by burning the land is, in my understanding, I haven't really spent the time with them, I haven't witnessed And that's documentaries about it from my recollection. I just have this there as my spiritual understanding of the Aboriginal man. I'm in discomfort. That's the reason for that face. He works, Aboriginal man, and I say he, it's arguable they're probably the one matriarchal feminine civilization culture on the planet, because the woman hunt, the woman go out to forage, the women find the food. But yet they work, they burn the land. Through their wisdom of the ages, they know that if they take the time to burn the land first, burn the loose twigs, burn the trees in such a way that they can care for the land and prevent massive forest fires. You need to have lived a life experience to know the land that you live on, to know that proactively burning the land prevents forest fires in the long run, which saves lives for you in the long run, provides you food in the long run. How many years, how many decades, how many centuries of existence must someone need to know that of their local land? They have to work to wake up the consciousness out of the mentality of wherever the life is at that point, to say, fuck, I need to be proactive here. And then on top of that, if you see non-attachment in their application to life, they carry nothing but the clothes on their back, and even then they don't. So that life never gets them in this place. Life is always blissful, isn't it? Life is never like they never put themselves in that place to say, to make themselves weak to life. What were you going to do about this sofa, Joe? You gonna carry that around the fucking Australian desert with you? What about this umbrella and this tent? I can't imagine the mentality to be that. Nomadic to life, that you don't have at least some possessions that you're taking with you, man, each time. Not because you want memories of photo books and stuff, but like, I can't imagine not taking a machete with me. I can't imagine not taking a survival kit, a tent. But you know, that's the way. And look at me in my fucking life. And then look at the life. Look at how much of an inconvenience I am to people, to life. And look at the Aboriginal man. The Aboriginal man, he's earning money, man. He's earning karmic money. He's like, I'm saving life here. With everything I do, I save life. I burn the land, I save life of animals. I burn the land, I save life of humans. And here I am being a burden to my fucking neighbours, creating more karma for myself. What do you reckon if I was to get naked and because you got to be naked when you're nomadic, don't you? And just walk the streets of London like, nah, man, I'm ghetto. I don't need a thing. It's impossible, isn't it? I mean, it's impossible in terms of society, but if it was ever going to be possible, it'd be like in London, or I don't know. I've not lived in other major cities, but in terms of the rubbish that's chucked away, you could do it no problem if you were allowed. But that's the sticking thing, isn't it? We're not allowed. I'm sure it would only be so long before a naked Andreas would get arrested. And that's the argument. And it's sort of like, fine, Andreas, if you're not going to let go of all your attachments and you're going to carry on with life, you've got to at least really be of the mindset of non-attachment in the present moment. And non-attachment in the present moment is literally like, at the moment I'm going forward and I'm of the mindset I'm really gonna not be carrying all of these possessions with me for too long a period of time before I start to lose some. And just be as okay with that as humanly possible. And that's where I am. That's why it's a ridiculous action plan, because an action plan requires success, doesn't it? And this action plan is just like it's like a life support action plan. It's like, right, Andreas, life support systems at the ready. We're bracing ourselves for impact. We're bracing ourselves for impact. Make an assessment of what is me, possessions, what I'm likely to lose, bracing myself on a mental level for that. Put my hands behind my head and my legs between my knees and holding my breath. I'm dying here because we're making far too much noise at the moment. And it's happening at night, which is, if it was ever going to happen, for it not to be at night. I'm disturbing my neighbours far too much. There's nothing I can do. And it's just about another part of that action plan to know that what I understand of the system, what I understand of what I'm doing with my life, sorry, I'm in a bit of discomfort, is almost certainly going to lead to medication again without me doing a thing, just living this life. And so acknowledging that, I guess, and that's going to remove some of the shock at a later stage. and prepare me to be more present in the immediate when it happens, and probably to instigate the best case scenario when I find myself in that position. To be constantly aware that, right, Andreas, you know, your life, it really is looking like you're going back to hospital. On an account of what you understand of life and all the inputs and outputs, it's looking this way. There's nothing you can do about it. And not, as much as I can't take any rest from knowing that, what I just said, that chances are when I found myself in that position, I'll handle the situation far better. And what might have been a 2-year admission to hospital might only be a 6-month admission to hospital, or something like that, you know? And hopefully I'll be able to see it from the other side. But yeah, I can't really take any comfort in it at the moment, that sort of mentality, that sort of thinking. And it's 3 o'clock, you know, I've not even had my supplements today, but that's what the energy of the day is, that's what the energy of the action plan is, and I guess that's why I was making the video, is to say, dealing with those contradictions that my brain isn't able to really focus on as a reality, and that is to say that I'm on a go slow at the moment with life, because that's what life is asking, and that's what I see as the best course of action, just in the immediate, at least. Where I'm on a go slow with life, my mind is still wanting to keep on top of everything. The medication factor, the money factor, the move factor. And it's just, I need an hour of hearing my own fucking voice to affirm to myself, that's all this is really. Just to affirm to myself that, hey, I'm in the shit, man. It's fucking insane. You're on a go slow, and you're going to continue on a go slow, and chances are being on a go slow is going to have repercussions that you're going to hurt. But carry on a go slow, because it's the best thing to do. And that's the purpose of this video. My eyes, my nerves can't deal with it. They're racing at 1,000,000 miles an hour. They're wanting to go and do this, that and the other. And I've said to myself, right, this amount of time, right now, I need to be here doing nothing. It's my body as the interim buffer between those, between the momentum of what life is asking and my previous programming, and my mind in the immediate to say, no, after all of that, this is what I've learned and this is what we need to do. And I'm struggling to just be like, to rest, to really rest in decision making anymore. But yeah, highly recommend Andreas' Sexy CBD Lemon Cake Mix. I tried to give you an idea of how it mellows, because it does really connect with the sexual energy. But it just does it in a very, very slight way, and it's only if your mind goes to it that it's going to activate anything. Where it connects with the sexual energy, it sort of like I sort of look at it like love. Apparently love is 42,000 times more powerful than negative thinking. So for every ounce of energy of love, it's 42,000 times more powerful than just standard negative thinking or realistic thinking. Whereas with the sexy CBD mix is a bit like that. You can have 1 ounce of chill out energy, or you can have 1 ounce of chill out energy times by sex and have that amount of chill out energy, but looking at it from chill out, relaxing, mellow sort of energy, not too sexual, not too stoned. And it tastes nice for what smoking tastes. I'm in a somewhat better place, as much as I'm still struggling on a physical level. Thank you for listening to me on this Sunday. Please send prayers to my fucking neighbours not to make my life any harder, and send them wisdom and compassion to raise their awareness over my what must seem like the most ignorant, fucking arrogant individual alive from their perspective, living next to me. And maybe life will be okay.